Hello YouTube, Ready Reptiles here with another video, and in today's video I want to talk to you all about the radiated tortoise. As you guys know, previously I've made videos on my channel on these animals, but I want to give you guys an updated version, show you guys the progress my own radiated tortoises I've made, any new radiated tortoises I've also picked up since then. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's video and let's get started. Alright guys, so here is my radiated tortoise table where I put my younger radiateds here during the day, like that they can go ahead and bask. Before I go ahead and start talking about them, I want to introduce you to each an individual one. So right here is one of my younger ones. This is from the second kind of rotation of radiateds that I went ahead and picked up. I bought initial 3, then I bought another initial 2, and then I got another initial 3 from the younger group. This one right here is doing amazing. Absolutely beautiful animal. They're all individually unique and just beautiful tortoises, but you can see this guy's doing great. So if we go ahead and turn over here, we got some of the older ones. This one, believe it or not, is probably around 4 years old. They are very slow growing tortoises, but they're actually doing amazing. Here is one of the younger ones from that kind of third generation of radiateds that I went ahead and picked up. They're doing awesome here. And if we go ahead and lift up this, just kind of give them some shade, in this back corner you can see the rest of the group. So to the left there are the younger animals, those two. The kind of medium-sized bigger one is the same one. That tortoise right there is actually named Madagascar, and her mom is Manja222. She's a stud book animal, so she basically came from Madagascar originally. And then the other two to the right, believe it or not, the one in the middle is the oldest one that I have out of the younger ones. And then on the right hand side there, that tortoise is equivalent to this guy right here, and they both grow amazingly. So these guys are doing great. There's lots of progress. This table here soon is about to get an upgrade. They're going to go onto grass officially, so I wanted to kind of share that with you. All right, and the last of the introductions here is Victoria. Victoria is my largest radiated tortoise. She is an adult female. As you can see, she's being housed with my Aldabra tortoises there. These guys are doing great together. Obviously, once the Aldabras get too large, this tortoise can no longer be with them, but they're pretty much equivalent when it comes to size, and they also have the same dietary needs. So here's Victoria. Wanted to share that with you guys, show you guys an adult female, and give you guys kind of a comparison between the younger group and obviously this adult female. Alright guys, so a little bit about where the radiated tortoises come from. These guys come from Madagascar. For those that don't know, Madagascar is a country, island off the continent of Africa. Madagascar is very biodiverse, so there's many species that are native to the island. That includes the radiated tortoise. It also includes the spider tortoise. It includes the plowshare tortoise, another few tortoises that are also critically endangered. Being that these guys are an island species, they are already considered endangered just because a natural disaster can go in there, wipe them out, take out their population, decrease it very significantly because they are very condensed to a small area, obviously being that it's an island. And these guys are going to be found in the shrubland marine coastal area, so lots of drier vegetation, shrubbery, lots of spiny things like cactuses, different things. If you guys haven't searched up Madagascar or searched up specifically radiated tortoises in Madagascar, you guys are going to get a very nice visual and kind of figure out where they come from. So these guys are obviously captive born animals. They are not imported from the wild. That is a big no-no. So we do our best to replicate their habitat as best as we can. So obviously I am in Florida right now. They are not in Madagascar, but we meet their needs and we go ahead and give them the best habitat possible. So those are some things to consider. It's important to know where they come from because you want to provide them with the best diet. You want to provide them with the best care possible. They are very beautiful tortoise, so they're going to be very sought after, of course, in their native range. So Madagascar is very important to understand, just because we want to go ahead and protect their native land, so like that they are not diminishing in population, just because they are already facing a lot of things and lots of adversity in the wild. Alright guys, so a little bit more specific on the diet of the radiated tortoise. These guys are going to be eating things that are higher in fiber, lower in protein, a moderate kind of amount of calcium, and we want to limit their sugary needs. So not a lot of fruit, obviously. These guys are considered what is a grassland species. Other grassland species you may be familiar with are the sulcata tortoise, the Aldabra, the Galapagos, the leopard tortoise, animals like that that are going to be grazing constantly and searching, foraging for food the majority of their time in the wild. So a very good thing that I like to feed these guys is called orchard grass. Orchard grass is a very soft, luscious grass that can be found at local feed stores. The next best thing would be T&O, which is a Timothy and orchard mix. And then if you can't find that, I recommend going to Timothy hay, although Timothy hay is not my favorite because it is not very soft. It's a little bit more on the prickly, harder side. So they can ingest it fine, but it's not my favorite thing to feed them. So those are the kind of tiered kind of levels of hay that I would recommend. Obviously, a younger animal is not going to be eating hay consistently because it's not their favorite thing. It's more of an acquired taste. But I have videos on how to get your tortoises to eat hay on my channel, so I would recommend going ahead and watch that. Other things that I go ahead and feed these guys are a puntia cactus, which I grow here locally in my yard. It is a very great source of natural calcium that you can provide to your tortoises because it is obviously taking the nutrients from the ground. It is a spineless cactus, and these guys absolutely love it. They go crazy for it. Another good thing that I like to feed them is spring mix, organic spring mix specifically, because it has a wide variety of different lettuces, different greens that are, you know, variable, and it's great for them to eat because they're going to get different nutrients throughout that feed as well. So we also do romaine lettuce, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, escarole. I love feeding hydroponically grown Boston lettuce because it's a great way for them to kind of get extra hydration. We want to also keep the fruit content limited, but when I do feed fruit, I feed watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, things like that, where they can go ahead and hydrate themselves. So this little guy is getting a little bit worrisome there. You can see he's going ahead and pooping. That's just kind of a very broad variety of things you can feed to your radiated tortoises, which goes for other grassland species as well. So if you're watching this and you own a sulcata or you own a leopard tortoise, maybe even an aldabra, galop, something a little bit more on that extreme side, it's a very similar diet that you want to feed them. Obviously, the ultimate goal is when they're older to feed them hay completely, and a lot of my older tortoises are on that specific diet, but these younger ones, we want to make sure we're incorporating a good variety of nutrients, giving them different things. I also feed different squashes, bell peppers once in a while. I do feed, like I said, fruit in the melon section, but I also like to feed some strawberries, some blueberries, a little bit of banana, but that is a more kind of a treat just to give them something different, showing them different colors as well. So that's a little bit on the diet of the radiated tortoise. All right, guys, so here is Victoria, and I want to talk and use Victoria just to kind of explain to you guys a little bit about the poaching situation that they go through in the wild. Like I explained in the previous clip, radiated tortoises are a critically endangered animal, and the reason is because you can see how beautiful their shell is. They have such an amazing pattern and just nice look to them. These guys are very sought after in what is called the, you know, black market slash traditional medicinal trade. They are considered an aphrodisiac. If they ingest their shell, it gives them some superpowers, or potential people think that. So what they do is they have the local Malagasy people go out there, collect them. They obviously kill them, or they ship them alive. There's many cases where you could see hundreds and thousands of radiated tortoises on a ship, in barrels and sacks, and it's just very sad to see because they are a very beautiful animal, and obviously the goal with everything is to protect them in their native range, not just have them in captivity. So poaching is a very big deal. The reason why they poach, like I said, is aphrodisiac. They also use them for bush meat, so you can't really fault the native people for eating them, but there's ways to kind of harvest and you know, go ahead, be a little bit more considerate when it comes to, you know, harvesting these animals. There's other options, of course. We don't want to eat them. So as you can see, that beautiful shell is why they are so sought after. Each animal has an individual kind of radiation, not radiation, but like radiated lines, different kind of marginal scoots, different patterns that make them each unique to their own. It is said that Queen Victoria once commissioned that if somebody could find 2 radiated tortoises that look the same, she would give them a very grand prize, and nobody obviously could find that because there are no 2 radiated tortoises the same. They are kind of like our fingerprints. We are each unique to our own individual self. So poaching is a very big deal. Another big deal is habitat destruction and loss. They are constantly getting cleared because what happens is that people go ahead and buy land and they want a cow farm, make cattle farms out there, and obviously they need land for that, but they don't need land that has trees. They need flat land, so they go ahead and cut those out, much like here in South Florida, the gopher tortoise happens the same way, but they use it for more residential purposes. The government also in Madagascar is very unstable, so there is no like set rules or set laws that protects their wildlife kind of per se. There is some things out there, but it varies so much because of new leadership coming in and out. So those are very, you know, much things that affect these guys as well, because if no one's protecting them from the government, then there's no need to say that they can't be protected by taking them out of the wild. So those are some things that go on with these guys. Obviously, we want to promote captive breeding, and captive breeding of radiated tortoises is very common in the United States. It's important to know, since they are a critically endangered animal, they cannot cross state lines, and you can only purchase them if you are a resident of your state and the breeder is a resident of the state as well. So you have to possess either a class 3 wildlife permit like I do, or be a legal resident of your state, both the seller and the buyer, so you can go ahead and buy them wherever you live. It's also important to note that you can have what is called a captive wildlife permit that is issued by the federal government, but that is very much impossible to obtain. So if you do come across somebody with that, make sure you go on the side of caution and question where their animals are coming from as well. So those are some things about kind of the, illegal things that happen with these radiated tortoises and why we should protect them in their native range, as well as have these assurance colonies like I do and many other people do within captivity. So as we can see, these guys are right now, what they're doing is just kind of thermal regulating, giving themselves some shade. I went ahead and lifted up their kind of hide area here. The rest of them are just walking around exploring. They went ahead and ate today some romaine lettuce, and I sprinkled a puntia cactus and also some orchard grass over. As you can see, there's a little bit left here on the floor. That's my way of getting them to kind of integrate some extra hay in their diet. Like I said, they want those high fiber things. But these tortoises are absolutely beautiful. I'm very privileged to own and work with these guys. A lot of people that I know have a significant amount more, but it's not about the amount you have, it's the way that you can go ahead and care for each individual animal and provide them with the best thing possible. Like I explained earlier, this is a very temporary setup where I bring them in and out because I want to make sure that everybody's doing okay. But here soon, they're going to be getting a nice upgrade, and I'll go ahead and show you that in the next clip. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put you guys in 0.5 real quick. There's Victoria. She is housed in this very large area with my Aldabra tortoises. And then right here next to them, there's this extra green space. If we go around the Buddha statue, I want to put the radiated tortoises here. It is between my tiki hut, between these palms. It's a very nice area where I can go ahead and close this off. They're going to have greens to munch on, obviously, depending how long they last. And these animals are going to have a nice, very large area. Now, it is a very big, expansive project for them because they are not very large tortoises at the moment, but it's a good way for them to kind of grow. Like I said, get some extra UVB, get those greens, give them some, natural grazing, of course. Eventually, they're all going to be about this size. They do get a lot larger than this, but not by much, and they will all be together. So what's important is to kind of make an area where I can house all these tortoises together. So the goal with this is to kind of split it in two ways, put the younger side, smaller animals on one, the kind of medium-sized older ones in another, and let them kind of grow separately, give them some individual spaces. We're obviously going to plant this nicely as well with different cactuses and different things like shrubs, so they can go ahead and kind of have a nice little more selection of native plants to where you would find them in Madagascar, obviously. So these guys are going to enjoy this area. It's a very big upgrade from where they are now, but obviously they are slow growing tortoises and they require space as they get older. And as you can see, Victoria's grazing on some of those little green shrubs and green weeds that are growing in her habitat. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and rate. And as always, I appreciate the support. I haven't uploaded much in the past year. That's because my life has taken over. I'm in school, about to graduate. My career is taking off as well. So those are things that are very important to me, so I had to put my focus there. But I do have all my animals, and if you guys want more consistent uploads, feel free to comment down below. I'll do my best to get these videos out to you. I also post constantly on Instagram and TikTok. Pretty much every day I have a video up there where I do kind of brief explanations of this in a minute or less. I post pictures, show you guys all the animals that I'm getting, all the animals that I have, updates on them, dietary needs, how to care for them, all of the above. As you guys know, I try to be as informational and educational as possible. My channel has never been as sort of an entertainment focus where I stage my content, where I show you things that are going on in an extravagant way. I try to give you guys the most educational and, like I said, informational content because I want you guys to learn from what I have learned and what I've taught myself. So excuse the background noise. There is a big truck passing by, but we're going to keep this in the video. There are some of the Aldabras, the Radiated is walking by. There's Buster doing his thing. And with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, see you, my fellow herpers.